So these AI generators are hilarious, and apparently they turn GOP lawmakers into drag queens. Let's rate them on 1 to 10. Mike Pence is a 0. Cruzella DeVille, who likes to take vacations when her city has experienced the worst winter storm ever. We're going to give them a negative 5 out of 10. Anita Phillip busts her. McConnell looks like Mrs. Doubtfire. We're going to give this look a 3 out of 10. Rudy Garland over here looking like the Crypt Keeper. We're going to have to give this one a negative 10 out of 10. Okay, Clarita Corrupta. This one? Okay, we're going to give this one a 5 out of 10. It looked like Ron DeSantis trying to give a little fish look. This one is going to be a 6 out of 10. Okay, Miss Golden Gate Showers. I like this one. This one's going to be an 8 out of 10. And last but not least, Miss Howl About Me, 10 out of 10. 10s across the board. We love to see it.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Thank you for joining me here for Conversations with Taz for Freeform Friday. And this is an extra special Freeform Friday. I have a very special treat for y'all and a very special guest. And this is someone who's very near and dear to my heart, and they are super talented, and we're going to get into exactly how talented they are. But before I bring them on, let me introduce you. And without further ado, let me introduce you to the creativity behind and the founder of Live to Win Creations, Miss Brittany.
Hi, guys.
Thank you so much for joining me.
You're welcome.
And we know it's Friday night, so if y'all go get a beverage and go get a snack, come on, we gonna get comfortable, okay? Family here. So let's start with the writing. What is writing to first start writing?
So I started writing right as COVID hit. So 3 years ago, I started with Would You Like to Know Me? As just a way to get rid of the COVID. We had just started working from home. At my previous job, I was going through health stuff, living at home with my mom, just dealing with the drama of that, and needed an escape. And a friend of mine who also did writing, sorry about my dog, did writing.
Home Pupper's interruptions. Dogs are welcome.
Yeah. my friend said you should write, so I started writing, and then one story turned into I was doing 3 at a time, and now I'm at 31 stories.
Nice.
So my first story has 8,000, almost 8,000 views as a final count on Wattpad, and then I have the Patreon sites that I have 5 subscribers now, I think. So the online diary seems to have the biggest traction right now.
And let people know the name of your online diary.
It is the diary of a misfit kid. So it goes back through my mental health journey and sobriety and things like that. I'm so sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
Do the
This is all of our moment to shine. They giving their input too. They want to talk about their projects too. We're gonna get to you in a minute, babies.
let me go. And some of the dogs are actually characters in the stories. Like Izzy, my dog I just lost 3 months ago, is a character in a couple of the new stories. So I just write about inspiration from when I was a kid growing up with trauma and stuff, and of course write about my favorite band. So, I mean, you've read some of them, so you know how details like.
So there's a diary, there's fan fiction. And for anybody who's interested, in the description of this video is the complete link to the link tree. It's the first link in the description of this video. So make sure you click on that and check out everything. But you have layers of creativity. You don't just write. You also make things from hand. Oops. Hold on, let's give it a minute. We're having connection issues.
Do you still got me?
Oh, yep, still got you. So
Okay.
as I'm saying, you have the diary, you have fan fiction, you have different things, but you also make things from hand.
Mm-hmm. That started with the making bracelets like these. I had just had my first back surgery and needed something to do with my hands. I was going crazy. I was writing, had all those stories going and trying to recover, but needed something else just to get out of my head, because it was every 6 weeks I was having a surgery, and I needed an additional income besides Patreon to help support my family with my boyfriend and our dogs. So I started doing that, started an Etsy store. Etsy store sells pretty well. Like, people buy the hats and the bracelets and stuff. I'm about getting ready to do Pride merch here, starting up to do orders on that.
And are you doing any pre-orders for the Pride merchandise?
Yeah, you can get me on Facebook and send me a message for those. I have the 2 Facebook pages for stories, and they're all in my link tree as well. For Facebook, Live to Win Fiction is what everything's Live to Win. So if you're trying to find something I did, it's with Live to Win on it. But there's Live to Win Fiction, which is all the stories, and then Live to Win Creations, which is the knitting and the rainbow looming and stuff.
And outside of blankets, outside of bracelets, what else do you make? Let the people know.
I make blankets, hats, gloves, socks. And if there's a video on it, I can probably make it. It may take me a while. Like, everybody this year for Christmas got something handmade. I still have your basket of stuff to give you whenever you come to see me.
I'll be in there. What is it? Yeah, it's August for the concert.
Yeah, August 1st is when he's coming. So, but yeah, everything was started as an escape, and then it's just the passion. Writing, I have to have a passion for it. And right now my writings, it's dwindled down a little bit because I'm working nights, but I find time to write up there. And I just started a Discord, so all my fans on Patreon and Wattpad can come over and talk to me on there, like anything they need to talk about, mental health issues, stories, music, just stuff you're going through, because we're all going through something right now. This pandemic definitely showed that we need to be more together than apart. And I mean, the people on Discord range from teenage 16, 17 to, well, I think I'm the oldest one on there and I'm 32. So, but I check in with them, share sneak peeks, poetry. I've showed them different music. Like, I try to be someone out there for, with my stories, it's me reaching out for help, and I want people to know they can reach out for help too. Which, I mean, you were there for me for that, so I'm trying to be that for somebody else.
Well, it's a cycle. It's a community, and you know my motto. We're okay. Yes, I know this is going to sound very High School Musical, but I had been living this life and believing this before there was a High School Musical, because we are truly all in this together. We can't escape this planet as much as we keep trying. Trust me.
Yeah.
I've been begging Scotty to beam us up for years, and I think Scotty is just ignoring me. I think he's sending me the voicemail at this point.
Yeah. But yeah, it just, the diary helps, and that was a big one that I started. But it just, a song can give me an idea, and I'm off and running. Like, someone can say a line to something. I was watching wrestling the other day and got an idea. Like, it's crazy how they form, and then it's just like starts with chapter 1, and then I was looking at one story and we're almost in the 50s in chapters, and I don't ever have a plan. I just fly by the seat of my pants. Basically, just get an idea and then open up my computer and just start typing. There's no paper trail of how the ideas started or anything like that.
Which I can relate to. Now, unfortunately for me, and we know my brain is a wonderland. So
Yeah.
I do have, we all know about my handy dandy notebook that I carry around with me. And it's waterproof because I'm also clumsy. But I can relate to, hearing a song and there are family members, y'all, I love you, but we can be having a conversation and they'll say something like so seriously. And then I'm like, wait a minute, I got to write this down because it sparked something in me. Like, has that ever happened to you? Like, you have a serious conversation and you're really paying attention, but somebody says something and it just like your brain.
Yeah, like I've had people repeat things and like grabbing post-it notes, and like when I worked in an office before, I would come home with sticky notes and just like one worded ideas, but somehow I would know. Like, my mom would come into my little makeshift office and there's just sticky notes, and like, what are you doing? My mom thought fan fiction was weird until she saw how many people were like commenting, like 125 comments on one chapter. And well, what are you writing about? Well, our family is in some of this. And
I will say her fan fiction is really good because there are, okay, now y'all know I am a workaholic. I can't help it. I try.
She's biased because she's my adopted mom. So
but you do know I try to like take time for myself and like just woosah. And Brittany really does help me with that. Like, she will remind me and she'll be like, did you take a break today? Did you eat today? And I'm like, oh shit, I didn't. But there are times like I'll get y'all know I love my little fluffy blankets because I'm a big kid, and my little fluffy pillow. And for y'all that think that these things are not fluffy and furry, she can tell they really are. And I'll just be reading and she's like, did you read? Yeah, I read about 17 stories.
Yeah,
she's sleep. I did not.
The Fight for Love is her favorite. She read it like four times, and I can see it. I'm like, there's a fourth story to this. Like, read the next one, move on.
But
like, this is what's gonna.
I do have my favorite parts.
Yeah,
and it's like, okay, you know how like you have your safety safe, your comfort zone. Like when you're having a jacked up day, that is mine. Like,
Yeah.
because we know I hate meetings. And if a meeting runs long, I zone out. So I pull it up and I start reading it. But
Yeah.
it's so good. And the
Yeah.
particular part that I keep going back, it's so good. It's not like the other parts are bad. I'm not
Yeah.
saying that. But like this part, I just connect with. I mean, I'm a little concerned as to why I connect with that part, but my therapist will work through it eventually.
I'm
Wait a
sure
minute.
there's a lot of people that I'm
Hey,
sure there's
therapist, you can subscribe to the Patreon, and because I'm not gonna tell you what's in that part. You're gonna have to subscribe.
my own therapist is subscribed to my Wattpad, if that tells you anything. There's things she's concerned about, but we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, it was interesting when my therapist stumbled upon my blog and looked at me, and she's like, "You didn't tell me you had a blog. You didn't ask."
Yeah, that's a need to know basis.
You didn't ask. You asked me a whole bunch of other questions. You didn't ask if I wrote anything down.
No.
You didn't ask about that. She said, you told me about the podcast. I told her about the other podcast. She found this on her own. I told her about the 5 Minute or Less podcast. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't trying to go back to the Grippy Sock Casino and Resort.
Yeah.
Because I was like, if she come over here, it's a little questionable.
Yeah,
well,
let her read my stuff, because that has family drama. Everybody says on Discord I'm very good at drama. Like, I'm like, because my life's dramatic. Like,
well, Facebook is pissed at me right now.
Yeah.
The Christians on the Facebook, they done called Daddy and everything. I'm not coming back to church. She hurt my feelings. And I said, but Daddy, did I lie? Did I lie?
Yeah.
I said, because I'm so petty. I'll write a book and self-publish it. And I'll use their actual pictures because I'm the official photographer. So.
Yep, there's puppers.
What do you want? Oh, yeah, he heard your voice. What? I figured you'd be upstairs under the bed since it's storming outside.
But yeah, I've got a few I've got to end soon. Like, a few stories I need to wrap up, but it's like, you don't know, like, loosely by chapter 25 I know where we're gonna end it at. Some of these stories are like
end it. You could just do it like how the soap operas do it. Like the soap
to be continued.
Like 150,000 years. It's
because people are like, are you gonna write a fifth story to your first Paul Stanley fan fiction? I'm like, no, we're 4's enough. We're coming to the end of that. But now our
TV show was called 8 is Enough. So I mean, I'm the people like just
I'm sure there's somebody out there that can give me an idea to keep going with it. But as long as the members of Kiss are around, or different bands that I like, and with writing about new bands, it's giving other people a chance to go listen to new music, because they're like, well, I don't know who this band is, so I'm like, here, check them out. So Theory of a Dead Man's a new story that I started. Nothing could come between us is the name of that one, and now people are making playlists of their stuff. So I'm getting my favorite bands exposure as I'm trying to get my writing stuff off the ground. I try to write at least 5 times a week. So I post every day on Patreon, or at least 3 times a week, and then Wattpad gets a weekly update with all the updates that I put on Patreon throughout the week. I have a little notebook. I write it all down.
And once again, y'all, the link to the link tree is in the description of this video. And you're gonna get more consistency out of writing from her than you will me, because I will forget to write a blog for like a month, and then she'll be like, "Are you okay?"
Yeah, I send the do I need to come and find you because did your kids kidnap you again? Because I haven't heard.
It's because I get distracted by silly stuff like French fries and corn dogs and
kidnappings at the park.
Yeah, like that Saturday, I was like, why am I at the park? I have a fever. Like,
yeah,
because people were like, in the pictures you have a hat on and a sweater, because I have a fever.
Yeah,
I'm supposed to be at home. And the tiny one was like, "Can we steal Gigi? Wait a minute. Why is everybody in agreement?" And then she was like, "We can put her in the trunk." What? Huh? That is a whole felony.
Yeah, I was like, I gotta go. I need to go rescue Taz because the older siblings are abducting her. Like,
Anthony was like, "You tell Brittany." And I did. Y'all said you were putting me in the trunk.
yeah, I was like, I gotta go protect mom. Like, something's going on.
Like, where was and she's 3. And was like, "Yeah, putting her in the trunk is a good idea."
Where did she come up with this?
On her own. They were outside the door.
Yeah. Stop. Oh my gosh.
Like, go far away from the home to put together this kidnapping plot. No. They're like, "We want to spend time with Gigi, but we'll commit a felony."
We'll kidnap her to spend time with her.
And the thing about it is, they were spending the night at my house.
Yeah. How does that happen?
Like, you're already here.
And you want to kidnap me?
Somebody, well, you can come to my house afterwards. I think not.
No thanks. We're done.
Ooh, somebody else. Yeah, and you got me addicted to Two Theory Girly. Ow.
Hey, Keller. Yeah, she's from my Discord. She's been following me for a while.
Hey, Discord. Go Discord. Get it.
Yeah. So she followed another writer, which is drama I don't want to get into, but
Well, I'm sure they're not talented, so it's okay.
yeah, I mean, it's again, if you lack passion in your stuff, then it shows. When you're being robotic about it and not putting any passion behind it.
Like they're using, what is that, Chat GPT?
Yeah.
Oh, and for those y'all that like to come into my comment section and act as if Chat GPT is going to replace my job and my business, who do you think runs it and does the SEO? IT professionals like me. Anyway, oh, and just so y'all know, Brittany is lovely. She is a sweet.
Guys,
I am a heathen. I will fuck you. I'm ready to fight every day. Don't start none, won't be none. Don't talk no shit about it. And then I don't have to come and verbally just
yeah. It's one call and she's on a plane here or driving.
And I like to tussle. Well, I can't drive now because remember the car got hit by a dude.
Yeah. But you can fly.
Yes, I can fly.
And
lovely train that comes through that serves dinner. And you know, if they serve food, I'm
there. Yeah. But
I don't lie.
I'm trying to figure out what story to work on tonight. I do need to try to go to bed at some point, but working at nights throws off your schedule on writing and trying to be creative.
Yeah, because there's sometimes I'm up at like, okay, you know, my super thick journal. I was like up writing in that, like just crisscross. Like, it's a good thing this journal does not have lines in it because I'll write across the side and
yeah.
And then I looked up, like, it is 4:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
And you know how, like, I'll just like leave something open, and I was like, Brittany will probably think I am online and I'm gonna be in trouble in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to sleep. But no. You wanna know who busted me? The baby out of the bunch. He showed up after work and was like, "Why were you on TikTok at 4:00 in the morning?" I was like, I wasn't. And then I looked down and I had a video paused and read that I was online. I was like, for real, I was asleep.
Yeah, I'll see you and I'm like, I know she's not up because her phone says notifications are silenced. So she's playing and I'm here at work. So if she's up, she better talk to me. I will call you.
I'll be knocked out, but I'll get to like, because you know it's so hard for me to go to sleep. I'm like, okay, I'm falling asleep. I just fall asleep. And I don't think like, oh, back out of this.
Yeah. I'll wake up and there's like 26 notifications because my phone, I learned to put it in do not disturb when I'm sleeping, because if not, everybody and their brother has a question, needs to make an appointment. Like, so I have to do that for writing sometimes too, because it's like some days I have to force myself to do it just to feel better. Because
Yeah.
you have the days with mental health where it's like, I just don't want to do anything.
Kids and your Uncle D-Mac can always get through to me, even because you're in that. Everybody, yeah. And okay. I don't think they watch this podcast, but there's one person I didn't realize I've had them silenced for the past 9 months.
Oops.
But I didn't miss them. And I only figured it out because they decided to DM me, and I was like, "Oh shit, hey girl, how you doing?"
Oh man. No, I'll just keep texting you until you answer me.
And
Or one of my siblings texts me and tells me.
Yeah, like when I had to go to the Grippy Sock Casino and Resort, and then I realized I can't go back. I'm too bougie.
Yeah, those
They
are not
coffee. I couldn't have filtered water. The ice was wrong. They kept giving me this smushed. It wasn't even a grilled cheese. It was just hot bread and unmelted cheese. And then I don't know why they thought mandarin, no, because I couldn't have mandarin oranges. Applesauce was a good replacement for oranges and garlic bread. And they gave me boiled chicken and boiled noodles. I was ready to go home. And then they said that I was prissy when I could get my clothes brought up to the hospital. So, I had my little slippy booties on and my shirt and my comfy leggings, right? Because I was confined to a wheelchair because of what I took. So I was loopy for like 3 weeks. And they were like, what does your house look like? A house, bitch. Why?
What kind of question is that? Like, what does your house look like? Like,
because they were like, you look expensive and you look cheap. Leave me alone.
I just want to do my time and get the hell out of here. That's my take on the Grippy.
You're taking my blood every day. We need blood for this week. Y'all done took so much blood. At this point, you could have cloned me 67 times. Hi, my baby. Hi, Gigi, baby. Hi, baby. Oh,
He had to see who I was talking to.
Oh, you're gonna come home with Gigi. Tell your mama bye.
No, you're not taking Budro. He's my only good one.
I'm pretty sure he I think he could fit in my carry-on. It's comfortable.
No, and you leave Sir Puppers with you. You're not leaving him here.
Sir Puppers is not coming with me. Okay,
yeah.
Off the plane. He is a Karen.
Yeah, no thing.
The Window Chronicles.
Yeah,
a whole spoken word about him on TikTok. My dog is a Karen.
Yeah. He creeps out the window to see what the neighbors are doing.
And he's a pup whore. He's already started having a hot pup summer.
It's too early for that.
He don't
But
care.
Yeah, I think I updated the journal today, and one of the fan fictions, I need to do a better job of scheduling writing, but it gets mundane doing that. Like if you have a schedule.
No, I think the spontaneity helps.
Yeah, like
let me give you the perspective as a reader.
Yeah.
Like, you get us like famished and like we're ready. If we know like, oh, Tuesday at 5 p.m. it's coming out, there's no anticipation. When we're like, oh, we don't know when it's coming out, our imagination can go crazy, and it's like a kid waiting for Christmas. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, and a lot of people have said an update's never what they expected. Like I always take it a little further than what people expected it to go.
Yes.
Yeah. my cliffhangers are, I piss people off with them. It's great. I love comments. Like, that's my favorite thing, is to go back and read. And I get more comments on Wattpad than I do on Patreon. And reading them, and like the excitement, and even in Discord, like, and I have imposter syndrome really bad. Like, it's horrible. Like, I will put something out, and I've had you read it, or Kyle, my boyfriend, or Discord people, and I'm like, God, this sucks. And you guys are like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, what are you smoking?
Exactly.
I'm like, this journal piece, like, people are gonna think I need to be.
I can understand you doubting Kyle, because if he says something negative, I'm a two-piece the hell out of him, and he knows that. But the
Mom said she loves you.
Yes,
He said thank you.
on Saturday afternoon. And Kyle, my birthday is on the 24th.
Mama Taz's birthday's on the 24th. She wants something sparkly.
I mean, you can throw some glitter on some Reese cups, because that's really my favorite.
Yeah.
And
I can't believe I'm almost.
Yeah, well, my therapist and Frenchie told me to cut down on the Reese cups, and I think they're full of shit. So if anybody out there in the cyberverse wants to send me Reese, please do.
I'm getting on Amazon tonight and getting your address and finding the biggest Reese's peanut butter cup I can possibly find.
Well, see, there was one. A friend of mine told me there was one at, okay, it's Cracker Barrel. We don't call it Cracker Barrel because of something that an older white woman said, but I can't say it on here because I will get
a banned. I'd like to come back.
But there's a type of music that there's a word, then tonk. If you use that first word and then bucket, that's how they refer to Cracker Barrel here. So I almost said that, but I'm not gonna say it. She said that they had a supersized Reese cup. When I went up there, they were already sold out.
Jeez. I'll find you like a Reese's gift basket or something.
And they shut down the flea market that was closest to me, where I could go, where this lady would like get all the different types of varieties of like the Reese's.
Mm-hmm.
And you could like get a mug, like the was it the Looney Tunes mug that I got?
Mm-hmm.
Came with Reese's in it, but they shut that down, so I can't find it. But yeah, Kyle, are we gonna tussle?
He's hiding in his bedroom.
But once again, just so y'all know, in the description of this video, the very first link is Brittany's link tree. And if you want to pre-order for Pride,
I'm doing a rubber band for each flag, rubber band bracelet for each flag. So I got to make, like, Kyle printed off. I sent you the picture of it too, but
yeah.
But I figured if I do pre-orders, and I'm still trying to figure out cost because everything's going up. Like, yarn's going up, rubber bands are going up. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, because your big brother wants a blanket for his bedroom.
My big brother does?
No, the baby. Your baby brother.
My baby brother.
And we went to the store, the discount store near me, and they've gone up $3.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this was not in the budget. Hold on, wait a minute.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I plan on doing blankets for Christmas this year, but I have to stay busy. Even when I'm working on my side hustles. So I'm doing my main job for 10 hours on top of making bracelets and stuff for Etsy or for baby showers. And then I'm writing a story. And usually if I get an idea, I can just type it out on my phone really quick if I forget the laptop one night. But I don't really have a writing process. I just kind of open it and be like, oh, Heart of Chrome, I haven't worked on this in 6 weeks. So, and that it's like, I'll get on Patreon and do like polls and stuff, and I don't get a lot of traction. And I think it's because my readers are so used to me just reaching into a hat and picking a story to update. And I can honestly say I've never read any of my stuff. I don't go back and proofread it. I don't know what happens. I know what I know is when you guys know is something's gonna happen. I know one step
That's why
ahead.
you don't understand why I'm stuck.
Yeah.
And I keep going back to that one. Leave me alone. It's story.
I can see what you people like and don't like.
Plus, remember, I do have the one neighbor that has Alzheimer's. So
Yeah.
it helps when I go over and I will read like some of your stories to her, and it does help. She gets a kick out of it. I think she was a whore when she was younger.
Don't read the smart parts to people.
She really likes the smart parts the best. That's why I think she was.
Oh, great.
But evidently she was a smart whore, because when I go in her house, she. I think the cheapest thing in her house is the refrigerator and stoves. It's sister girl got it going on.
Is there still Discord people commenting?
I can see them coming in, but there's not more comments.
All right, yeah, I can't see comments.
Would you get
But the
goal is your puppers.
I gotta go outside because the dogs are going crazy.
Oh, Puppers is going crazy too. That's why I said I believe he's a racist. What is wrong with you?
But no, I mean, and I'm always open if you want to request a story. Usually I try to keep that for Patreon people, but Wattpad people have. I don't think it's fair to pay for me to write them a story. Like, I like the creative, the challenge. So I like the challenge, but it's hard to write what people expect, if that makes sense. Because people, their ideas, they have what they see the story going as, and me taking the idea totally changes. And like, my younger fans ask for stories, and I've got to keep it as PG as possible for them.
Yeah.
So I have to remember that there's teenagers that read my stuff, so I can't get. I've had to start putting trigger warnings on stuff because of younger audiences coming in. I don't want to be that trigger for anybody.
No, I completely understand. But you know what? I just had an idea. It just popped in. Would you be open to, like, if we alternated on Mondays, like one of us start a writing prompt and then the other, like, each week, and we come up with the story, and then we meet up on Friday and we like read the
cool.
to
cool.
the people. So you're good with that?
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah. Yeah, we both have Google Docs. I mean, you have access to everything before everybody else does. So
yes. Okay, so we got a new Friday night segment with Brittany.
Yeah. Woo. I am off on Friday, so. But
okay. He's just.
But he just punched you in the face.
This is abuse. Hashtag me too. Oh, you in trouble. You already called you. Don't come over here. Yo,
He's in.
You in? No, he put bass in his voice. You in trouble? Oh shit. You in trouble? Oh, you in trouble.
But I gotta start doing the nightly routine since I haven't been to bed yet. So
yeah, but thank you for joining. You get some rest. I love you. And everybody, make sure, once again, I know I say it a lot, but make sure you check out the links in the description of this video, the links to get in touch with Brittany and see all of her work. And just so y'all know just how amazing she is, it's the first link in this link tree, and you'll see her again next Friday because we're going to start writing together. Yay!
Yep.
But
text me after the show.
Yes.
Let me know what you want to do.
Love you. Rest.
All right. Bye, guys.
We're going to run the ad, and then we'll come back with more from this week.
Hello.
Will you stand behind the yellow line, please?
Oh, sorry.
Till I call you. Thank you. Good morning, Miss Stacy. Did you do something different with your ropes? You're the ones who have to clean us. Been there. I know I'm not supposed to burn them. Just smells so good. Next, you can come forward.
Thank you. All right. Yes.
Check you back in. Where have you been?
I have returned from visits.
Do you want to try that again?
I was terrorizing a suburban family in their home. Yes.
I keep on vouching for you.
I'm sorry.
See how this makes my job harder?
Right.
Know what I mean? Yeah. If we're up to me, do whatever you want, you know?
Right. This must put you in a weird position.
I don't play by their rules. Okay? I'm just doing my job.
I totally get it. I'm sorry.
So, I'm gonna have to suspend your downstairs pass. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Now, if you missed the first segment, stop right now, rewind, go watch the first segment because you missed a lot. But if you did see it, we're going to roll into, more news from the week. But because it's Freeform Friday, I do have some jokey jokes to put in there and some things to lighten the mood, okay? And like I said, as always, make sure you check out the links in the description of the video. So where do we start? Oh dear. Let's start with the tech executive that was murdered and the fact that their killer was picked up.
Do you guys remember the story about the Cash App founder who was stabbed in San Francisco last week, and all the conservatives went crazy about San Francisco being a crazy dangerous place? And Nepo baby, Sarah Foster, David Foster's daughter, the one who has all the Grammys and is on his fifth wife, married to Catherine McPhee. Anyway, his daughter, Sarah Foster, said she's a liberal, but that liberals were ruining cities after her rich white friend was stabbed in San Francisco. Well, guess what? Turns out it wasn't a random person who stabbed this young man. It was an acquaintance, another rich techie. Now, Sarah got a full-page ad in the New York Post. And like a lot of conservative arguments, crime apparently is only the worst in liberal cities. Except for those of us who pay attention to the news, we know that the most dangerous places in America are in red states. That's verifiable, Sarah, and with numbers. I know you're a VC, and so you like details. You should probably wait on them the next time before you insult a whole city. And Sarah even claims that she's not conservative, that she's a liberal. And how many liberals are getting full-page spreads in the New York Post owned by Rupert Murdoch that are liberals? Girl, bye. Other rich techies who tried to claim the same thing, like VC Jason Calacanis, who also is sharing Trump's plans to reinvent cities, totally trustworthy too, right? But enough of the I'm not a hardcore conservative talk. An arrest has been made, and it turns out it was an acquaintance. A man named Nima Momeni has been arrested in connection with the death. And he's the owner of an IT company called Expand IT. And he and Bob Lee were together at that point at 2:30 a.m. on the 4th. And that's why the cops are talking to him. RIP to Bob Lee, and keep it here. I'll update you on this story as it develops. And shame on the New York Post, Sarah Foster, and Jason C. for spreading fear-mongering without knowing what the hell they're talking about. And if you liked this post, don't you dare forget to hit follow.
Now, one thing I know from my granny and papa traveling to San Francisco quite a few times and me being in San Francisco, there's very few things that are random. But I'm just saying. But coming from the LATimes.com, tech consultant charged in San Francisco murdered new Cash App founder, but motive unclear. The fatal stabbing of Cash App founder Bob Lee last week reignited a debate over crime in San Francisco, with some high-profile figures decrying the killing as yet another example of rampant wanton violence. I don't ever remember. Okay. But in announcing murder charges Thursday, authorities said Lee was killed by someone who knew him, not a random street attacker. That's been my experience in San Francisco. The crime is from somebody who knows you. Like, strangers ain't worried about you. Nima Momeni, 38, a tech consultant and entrepreneur, was taken into custody without incident Thursday morning in Emeryville. San Francisco Police Chief Bill Scott announced at an afternoon news conference. My apologies. Don't think all of us IT consultants are. We might be a little wonderlandish and a little spicy in the brain, but we're not murderers. Okay. Momeni was charged with murder and a special circumstance that he used a knife to kill Lee, San Francisco District Attorney Brooke Jenkins said. Now, in watching some news today, it was a kitchen knife that this motherfucker still had the blood was still on it. Authorities said Thursday. Do people not watch Law and Order? Like any of the law? Authorities said Thursday that the case is still under investigation. I told y'all that last night. And did not disclose a motive. The arrest marks a twist in the much-watched case, which some had used to push a narrative that San Francisco was overrun by random street crime. That narrative was only pushed by staunch GOP conservatives. Because, presidential election on the horizon, and they don't like Gavin Newsom. Like, yeah, he fucked his best friend's wife, but, he's still a good governor. Isn't that the logic y'all use with Trump? However, like most homicide victims in the United States, Lee knew his attackers, authorities said. Y'all need to start watching Snapped and Fear Thy Neighbor, and actually y'all already watch it because them shows are still on. But anyway, this is more about human nature and human behavior than it is about our city. Scott said, you take this out of San Francisco, they knew each other. It could have been any other city. I don't think it would have changed the circumstances. And it would not have. It would not have. And rumor has it, it's about the attacker and alleged murderer's sister, who has a husband, and her husband was up in the courthouse today. Yeah, you heard me. They was up in the courthouse today. Together, hand in hand. Like, now, folks have not liked my siblings. Folks have not liked me and went to my siblings. We ain't became murderous. Folks ain't liked friends of mine. Folks, friends of my friends ain't like me. We ain't become murderous. After Lee's death, tech executives and other high-profile figures, including Twitter chief executive Elon Musk, aka Willy Wonka. If you know the actual factual story behind Willy Wonka and you read the book and didn't just watch the movie, Elon Musk is Willy Wonka. But we can talk about that on another day if you want to. Let me know in the comments if you want me to elaborate on that. Decried the violence in the city, where progressive district attorney Chesa Boudin, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, was recalled by voters last year after being criticized as soft on crime and accused of neglecting to address public safety and homelessness. I don't need a CGV tonight. I must point out reckless and irresponsible statements like those contained in Mr. Musk's tweet that assumed incorrect circumstances about Mr. Lee's death served to mislead the world in their perception of San Francisco and also negatively impact the pursuit of justice for victims of crime as it spreads misinformation at the time when police are trying to solve a very difficult case, Jenkins said Thursday. And let me take the time to say this. Conspiracy theories, misinformation, and flat out lies lead to cases like this becoming cold cases. I am happy that it did not happen in this instance, but when you amateur sleuths that think that you're Inspector Clouseau, but you're really Inspector Gadget without Penny, if you know, you know, you jam up you murk the water so much that these people don't receive justice and their families don't receive justice. Now, a lot of times they receive delayed justice, but it's after the family members that were there to know them are gone. If something were to happen to me, it means nothing if everybody who actually knew me is actually gone. At this point, it's just for pomp and circumstance. If you don't quit, but moving on, child. We know. Trump is going to do what Trump is going to do. So let's get into the latest Trump news.
King Trump news. New reporting reveals that Jack Smith has zeroed in on the type of documents Donnie Dumpster Fire illegally removed from the White House and then refused to return, including a classified map. According to legal expert Dave Ehrenberg, violators of the Espionage Act or 18 U.S.C. 719E could face up to 10 years in prison. And there's a strong case here. Ehrenberg says that if dipshit Donnie was unauthorized to have possession of the map and showed it to anyone, he'd be in violation of the law. It's been reported that aides to Donnie Dollhands were asked questions about this map in the criminal grand jury. This adds a new level of heat to Trumple-Thinskin's case because it potentially gives prosecutors physical proof of his crimes, a smoking gun, if you will, which means the very real possibility of Diaper Don being charged and convicted of this crime. And I absolutely love this for him. It couldn't happen to a more crime-infested asshat.
While Joe Biden was giving a speech to an estimated 27,000 people in Ballina, Ireland, literally walking out on stage to dropkick Murphys, Donald Trump was rambling and ranting at the NRA conference. So Trump is now essentially doing a greatest hits, which are really his grievances, no matter the platform or what the occasion is. His former Vice President Mike Pence had taken the stage earlier and been booed by the crowd. Trump pointed that out, classy as ever. Trump also leaned into the culture wars, attacking trans people in a manner that can only be described as reprehensible.
An outside panel to investigate whether transgender hormone treatments and ideology increase the risk of extreme depression, aggression, and even violence. I think most of us already know the answer. Patriots and persecute Christians while pushing the transgender cult on your children. Children turn 25 and they say, "Who did this to me? Who did this to me? How did you let this happen?"
Melania Trump, as we all know, did not attend her husband's victory speech after his indictment and arraignment last Tuesday. So she didn't show up for that. Previous reports before that even happened said Melania Trump wants nothing to do with her husband's legal problems. She's going about living her life. She lives in a separate wing at Mar-a-Lago. They do not share living quarters, so they're not even sleeping in the same bed. So that's usually a pretty big indication that there's some marital problems there. And these reports say that Melania spends most of her days happy with Barron and her parents, who also live down there, and they're just going about their lives as if none of this is even happening. Good for her!
He's not begging for anything. Grow up, B. You're sad. The he she is referring to is Donald Trump. Excellent use of pronouns, by the way. But you're right. Donald Trump isn't begging for money. He's just asking people to contribute to become members of his cabinet because his former cabinet is either in jail or found guilty of crimes. He's also not begging for money here. He just wants to award someone Patriot of the Month. But the only way it seems you can get it is if you donate money to Trump. He's not begging for money here either. He just wants people to join his Day One club. And you've been selected. See, this one I can see how someone can misconstrue it as him begging for money. But he's just starting a Trump founding membership. It's like Costco. But instead of getting things at wholesale price, if you give him money, you could take a stand against the radical left. Those emails get sent out to his followers. He's not begging for money. I mean, why would a man that's worth $2.5 billion beg for money? I mean, he's so rich and successful, so surely no one's sending it to him, because that would be dumb. So if you haven't received your certificate or trophy for Patriot of the Month, I'm sure it's on its way. Anyways, bye.
Trump's attempt to forum shop and get a better judge for himself in federal court in Miami against Michael Cohen in a new lawsuit he just filed yesterday has backfired. Not only did he not get the type of judge that he was looking for, he got exactly the opposite of that, and somebody that's going to look at the lawsuit, I believe, for what it is, which is a press release masquerading as a lawsuit, as a list of grievances looking in search of causes of action that are appropriate to be filed in a courtroom. Darren Gales, who used to be on the Miami Circuit Court, state court bench, supremely well considered, very judicious, very sober, a very intelligent jurist, got promoted to the federal bench by Obama. He is the first openly gay black federal judge in America when he was confirmed. And Darren Gales is the judge that's been assigned to the Cohen case that Trump has filed. Now let's...
A judge has been assigned in the Donald Trump versus Michael Cohen case in the Southern District of Florida. The judge is Darren P. Gales, Federal District Court Judge. Judge Gales is highly well respected, a very considered jurist. He was a state court judge before being elevated to the federal court by Barack Obama. Judge Gales is also the first African-American openly gay district court judge. I'm sure former President Trump will have much to say about Judge Gales.
Of course he is. That's why he gave the speech at the NRA conference that he gave. And we'll get more into the NRA conference later. But before we move on, one story that I've been following every Wednesday with your favorite resident Ginger is regarding the Washington Commanders. Right now, it looks like new ownership is on the way. The only thing holding it up is that they're waiting for the owners to vote to approve the purchase, because that is one of the rules in the NFL. But y'all, let's have a bit of humor before we move on, because actually we don't have to do that. This is humor all within itself. Have you heard about the woke free beer? Let me introduce you.
Every day is a new grift with the MAGA Trump folks, right? So, Seth Weathers, he led the Trump campaign in the state of Georgia in 2016. He has his own grift now. He is so upset over Bud Light's transgender ad campaign with Dylan Mulvaney that he has started pre-selling his own conservative dad's 100% anti-woke beer, Ultra Right Beer. And for just $35 a six-pack, 4 times the cost of Bud Light, you can own the libs. Order it now. You can't make this shit up.
America's been drinking beer from a company that doesn't even know which restroom to use. That's why I created Conservative Dad's Ultra Right 100% woke-free beer. Stop giving money to woke corporations that hate our values.
So, woke-free beer is one of the dumber things that I've heard in a long time, but I was so intrigued by this when I saw it this morning that I just absolutely had to know more about it, and what I found is absolutely hilarious. So first of all, 6 cans of this stuff costs $20, which is absolutely ridiculous. But more importantly, in order for these to be ready to ship by early May, they have to be contract brewed. Like, they have to be brewed by another brewer that already exists. And they say that this beer is brewed and canned in northern Illinois. And I have to assume that that means Chicago, because if it didn't mean Chicago, they'd just say the city that it was from. And more to the point, there are only 2 breweries in Northern Illinois that have the ability to put something like this together. You know, that have the canning capacity and have the national distribution networks. And both of them are in Chicago. So the conservative dad's ultra-right beer is being brewed in Republicans' biggest boogeyman city. But wait, it gets even better. Because the only 2 breweries that they could have contracted with are Lagunitas and the Goose Island Beer Company. But the thing is that neither of those companies is independent. Lagunitas is owned by Heineken, and Goose Island is owned by AB InBev, the same company that owns Budweiser, which makes Bud Light. And based on the kinds of beers that these 2 companies typically make, Lagunitas mostly makes higher ABV beers, while Goose Island does have those sort of wheat ales that are like this ultra-right beer. If I were a betting man, I would bet that they have contracted to Goose Island, owned by the same company that owns Bud Light. That's just my speculation, and I could be totally wrong about that. Like, there could be a third brewery that I didn't find, but I think it's pretty likely. The grift is just absolutely unfucking real. These guys are hawking $20 6-packs of anti-woke beer that basically come from the same company as the one they're railing against. And yet large numbers of people are probably going to fall for it because everything is so incredibly stupid. Yeah, so after like 2 solid hours of like continuing to look into this when I could have been doing literally anything else, I am more confused than when I started because like, yeah, this part's true. Like you would have to know the exact address of the brewery in order to know like which one it was contracted out to. But like, it's so much weirder than that because there's no record of this beer being produced at all. The company itself doesn't appear anywhere on the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Trade Bureau's website. Nor do any variations of this beer's brand name appear under any of the likely contract brewers or in the state of Illinois at all on the TTB's public cola registry, which has all of the approved labels for alcoholic beverages in the United States. More than that, another likely candidate, Revolution Brewing, only has the ability to send their beers to select states in the Midwest. And Great Central Brewing, perhaps the most likely other candidate, doesn't list these people as a client. Now, of course, it's possible that they're just trying to avoid backlash, but like, we'll know once the beer comes out anyway, so it just doesn't seem likely that that's what's going on. More than that, most states in the United States actually ban the practice that is like the fundamental business model of this company right now, which is like shipping beers directly to consumers. It's just illegal. So yeah, I gotta say, like, I have more questions than I have answers after all of this, but, like, I'm coming around to the idea that, like, this beer doesn't actually exist. Like, they don't actually have a contract partner yet, and they're just doing the marketing. Like, that honestly just seems like the most likely scenario at this point. Like, they just have none of this figured out. But honestly, you know what? No matter what turns out to be the truth of this story, I think the fact that people are willing to cough up $20 for a 6-pack of anti-woke 4% alcohol by volume beer is and will remain the most ridiculous part of this story.
Now, over on Twitter, people are like putting out their receipts that they've pre-ordered this beer. It's a pre-order. So when you order, it's not like you're sitting there waiting for in a couple days it's going to show. No, it's a pre-order. And it's supposed to only be sold during the month of May. Now, I'm not a beer drinker, but I do know quite a few. So when they were like, oh, $20 for a 6-pack, and then I started seeing people go, oh, that's exorbitant. So I started asking the beer drinkers in my life, and I'm like, even for them, the most hoity-toity beer that you can buy isn't going to be that expensive for a 6-pack. And then when you add in shipping and handling, you're paying over $30 for 6 cans of beer that you have to pre-order. There's no taste testing going on. And here's the thing. No, I'm not a beer drinker, but I used to volunteer with my granny for a multitude of things. And there was one night after a performance for a play, there was like this area that was set over that up and coming businesses were in there, for market research, wooing people. And one of those products was Blue Moon beer. And I remember because I got a bottle opener from them. I wish I still had it, but somebody took it from me, but I digress. It's a conversation for another day. And I tasted the beer and I'm like, oh, this isn't bad. It's, if I ever decided to drink beer, this is one of the beers I might drink. Just like when I was introduced to Krabby's. But not my go-to. Y'all know, I'm a wine girl all day and all night. But this company is pre-ordering. They're not going out doing market research. They're not going out allowing you to taste test anything. And to me, it looks like they took a Mic Ultra, because after I did a little research, it looks like they took a Mic Ultra can and refurbished it. And see, I keep telling y'all, the folks of do your research, never do any research, because you will be hard pressed to find anybody in 2023 who is not inclusive, even if their inclusivity is just on paper. But y'all also don't like to believe us when it comes to why there's such an influx of pro-life. Let's take a look at that.
I made this video not too long ago. If your stance is that you're so pro-life you'll kill anyone who disagrees, you're not really pro-life. You're pro-white baby. The people who oppose what I just said there's no way I could be true. And I'm just making that up. I'm part of the woke mob. This article was posted yesterday, April 12th, 2023. Nebraska Republican says 6-week abortion ban is necessary because white people are being replaced. I don't know how much more blatant these people can get with their agenda.
We have killed 2,000 babies since abortion became legal. Those are 2,000 people in the state of Nebraska that could be working and filling some of those positions that we have vacancies. They're not here. Our state population has not grown except by those foreigners who have moved here or refugees who have been placed here.
Foreigners or refugees?
Why is that? It's because we've killed 200,000 people. These are people we've killed.
That was Nebraska State Senator Steve Erdman. This fascist behavior is happening at every level of government in this country.
Now, remember last night I showed you the entire video snippet the entire video of the snippet that he showed at the end of his video. I've been telling y'all, they're afraid of their great replacement theory that they came up with. They don't want to admit that it was their ancestors that set the precedent that you could take away from whiteness, but nothing else. Now, from one crazy racist to the next, remember when I told y'all that Governor Greg Abbott wanted to immediately and expedite a pardon for a blatant murderer, Daniel Perry? This is why I tell y'all to wait to get all the facts, because guess what? There's more.
Hey there, friends. This is a rather disturbing episode, so if you're not in the mood for that, go ahead and skip. A couple days ago, we talked about how Governor Abbott has requested an expedited pardon for Daniel Perry, who was convicted of murdering Garrett Foster at a Black Lives Matter protest. Well, the judge in charge of this case has decided to release all of the evidence that was presented at trial so that the public can have a more clear understanding of exactly who Daniel Perry is. This is just one of 76 pages of phone records from Daniel Perry's phone. This is where he begins with, "Might have to kill a few people on my way to work." On another page, he admits to killing a homeless man by accident, but claimed to his friend that the police let him go. In addition to horrifically racist content and apparently admitting to killing a homeless person, there are also several searches for good chats to meet young girls. And this text exchange with somebody who claims that they had just gotten their driver's license. I've linked to this document in my bio so that you can read it for yourself, and I surely hope that now we all agree that this is not a man worthy of pardon.
Now, before we move on to the second part of this, that information is also linked in the link tree in my bio. So if you would like additional information regarding it, please go and view. Now, part 2.
Right now, Texas Governor Greg Abbott is about to pardon the man who murdered a Black Lives Matter peaceful protester. But it gets even worse than that, because right now, Texas just sentenced a black man, to 70 years in prison for the crime of spitting on a police officer. And the thing is, this is not anecdotal, it's systemic. Ethan Couch, a wealthy white teen, got drunk at 16 and killed 4 people. His judge, Judge Jean Boyd, gave him 0 prison. That same judge, 2 months earlier, gave 10 years prison to a black 14-year-old kid who got in a fight and with one punch, the other person died. A wealthy white teen got 0 prison for killing 4 people, but a black, younger teen got 10 years for killing 1 person. In Tarrant County, a black woman named Crystal Mason voted on the advice of a poll worker and got 5 years prison because she was ineligible to vote. The vote never even counted. Meanwhile, in that same Tarrant County, a wealthy white judge, a Republican, committed deliberate voter fraud, and he got 0 prison for it. So in the same county, a black woman got 5 years prison, though her vote never counted and she had no intent to commit fraud. But a wealthy white judge who committed deliberate voter fraud, he was stuffing ballots, got 0 prison. The Texas GOP is pardoning white men who commit murder, excusing white teens who kill 4 people while drunk, and looking the other way while white male judges commit voter fraud. Meanwhile, they're sentencing black children to 10 years, black women to 5 years, and black men to 70 years prison. That isn't law and order. That's white supremacy.
He's absolutely positively correct. But y'all keep wondering why we bring race and gender and certain things into everything, because everything in this country is now, in case you haven't heard, Montana is trying to ban TikTok within the parameters of its border.
Gen Z, Montana just banned TikTok. After they saw what you did in Tennessee, they banned TikTok. Sarah Huckabee Sanders is now going to require everybody to give a driver's license to create a social media account. Republicans are trying to take away our ability to communicate and raise our voice.
Clarence Thomas's mother still lives in the home that the billionaire Boop.
Well, would you look at that? Montana to be the first state to ban TikTok. But why would they ban it at a state level and not a national level with the Restrict Act coming out? Well, I guess the Restrict Act is moving a little bit too slowly for them, so they're trying to push it through by banning it at a state level. But if they just ban it in Montana, how would that affect the rest of us? Well, they're hoping that somebody would file a lawsuit against the Montana ban. And what would that do? Say it together now. That's right. Send it to the illegitimate Supreme Court, who are champing at the bit to ban TikTok. But why do they want to ban TikTok and not Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and all the other sites that people are communicating on? Because this site is the one that's educating everybody the most. This app is the one that people are radicalizing and organizing on. What can we do about it? Call your representatives. Call your fucking representative and let them know that if they support the Restrict Act in any way, that you will vote against them in the primaries. Make sure your representatives know that they work for us and not the other way around. They want to restrict our First Amendment right because they don't like what we have to say, because they're losing power and they know it. Gen Z and Gen Alpha are coming of age and they know that they aren't going to win in 2024 and they are scared. You know why they're scared? Because they should be.
I'm not going to comment. I'm just going to show you this.
I think my brain's going to explode. That's the only way I can react to this news right now. Okay? Do you remember during last month, we all sat through that TikTok committee hearing and we just heard about how, they were grilling the TikTok CEO and they were screaming at him that it was all Chinese spyware and they're going to steal our information. While that was happening last month, Documents from the Pentagon were being leaked online from January until very recently, and we had no idea where the documents were coming from. There were members of the Department of Defense thinking this was a high-level member of the bureaucracy that was being blackmailed, maybe somebody who was being paid off, all these different things. And we finally have the answer, and it's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. It was a Discord server. It was a Minecraft Discord server. Hundreds of documents putting our entire spy network at risk. And it was not TikTok. It was a Discord server where people discuss Minecraft and share racist memes called Thug Shaker Central. It was full of a bunch of teenagers. And one teenager was a 21-year-old guy named Jack Texiera. And Jack posted on there trying to get clout. Jack posted, all you guys are nothing but a bunch of betas. I have high-level military clearance. And somebody replied, no you don't, you cuck. So Jack started posting pictures of Ukrainian battle plans, lists of spies all over the world that are helping America. Oh my God! He didn't do this for political reasons. He didn't do this for an ideology. He did this because he's fucking sad and had access because he works in IT. And everyone in our government's so old, no one thought, don't give the 21-year-old guy who's on Discord servers all day access to the United States worldwide intel network. Now, we're going to have to sit through a House committee of new congressmen and senators sitting there with their questions for the CEO of Discord. They're going to have to say things like, I see on Discord you have a thing called Discord kittens. Tell me, does uwu mean a good thing, yes or no? That's what we're going to have to sit through. There's going to be a member of Congress who's going to have to ask the question. We were reading through the chat logs here, and it says, Tracer Rule 34 Futa. I was going to try to look that up on my phone, but my intern knocked my phone out of my hand. Is that part of the Chinese spy network? I'm dead serious. This is so dumb. And it's because our government's run by the oldest people possible while our technology has been advancing faster than they ever have. We have members of Congress who are older than television.
He's not wrong. And the people that are in Congress, the people that are in charge overall of our political climate right now in 2023 are the same people that you say are feeble-minded and are susceptible to telephone scams. If you can see that Mama and Papa can't navigate a telephone call, why are you putting... Anywho, let's get into the details of this document leaker, okay? So yes, he was right. The server was called Thug Shaker. He started sharing secrets as far back as December 2022. When the government found out, I went over that last night. You can go back and watch that episode. He was also checking to see if the government was searching for a document link. He knew what he was doing was messed up. And his excuse was that he was looking for connection due to the pandemic. We are no longer in lockdown, sir. You started this after lockdown was released, but he violated the Espionage Act. So, yeah. He's going to learn that he should have just taken being called a cuck and a beta instead of trying to posture for a bunch of teenagers that he assembled within his Discord server. And is anybody else concerned about that other than me? Whew. Well, all right. Well, all right. Well, all right. Well, all right. Now, since we were already talking about TikTok, let's also talk about why exactly they want TikTok banned. Because, the sharing of information scares them. And what's the biggest amount of information that's being shared? Oh, Clarence Thomas in Tennessee. But also their convention today for the NRA. Let's take a look.
There's a video of Ron DeSantis getting interrupted at the NRA convention by protesters.
If you looked at governor races, president races, 2010, 12, 14, 16, 18, yeah, thank you. You got to have a little spice in the speech, right? I mean, you got to have a little fun. Why you'd want to pay the ticket to get in just to do that, I don't know, but different strokes for different folks.
Let's talk about some cringy moments at the NRA convention today. Now, TikTok, this is for educational purposes only, as it was on every news station and is literally a current event.
I don't care how many billionaires, TikTok stars, or Hollywood airheads they've got. Hear this. Gun-hating politicians should never go to bed unafraid of what this association and all of our millions of members can do to their political careers.
To all of the people who are constantly complaining about George Soros, which, by the way, is a dog whistle, and as a whole not true, you good with this? Because this is one of the top leaders in the NRA, and he's just openly bragging about what you guys have been complaining about.
I promise you. With a new Republican Congress and a new Republican president, we will kick these liberal meddlers out of our gun stores and out of your lives.
Excuse me, what? Yeah, our former vice president, everybody.
You can talk big stuff when you're with the NRA. But let's trickle back to DeSantis. Because last night, DeSantis signed the abortion ban that I told y'all about last night. Once again, if you didn't get the details, go back to last night's episode. There is a 15-week exception for rape, but this ban will not take effect immediately. But keep in mind that DeSantis flew into Florida to sign the abortion bill, then headed right on back out to New Hampshire. And then, as you can see, he was there to speak for the NRA, still with his undeclared presidential campaign. Parts of Florida are underwater. And isn't he the one that said that he would get in front of issues? I don't think this is going to go very well for him trying to change the legislature, for him to hold on to the gubernatorial office and still run for president. Looks like you've been no call, no show too many days in a row. And what happens to everybody else when they no call, no show that? Well, let's have a little humor real quick.
Bitch, do y'all care if the house has a kitchen? Y'all want a kitchen? I can absolutely get you a house downtown if you have $2 million. So what do you do for work? A teacher. Oh, fun. I remember when I was poor. Bitch, this house has everything that y'all are looking for. This is a child's playhouse. The asking price is $400,000. What's your credit score? 700? Okay, maybe you could borrow some money from the mob or something. This is a very nice neighborhood. Do y'all have bulletproof vests? Okay, so this is a very nice 2-story home, but it doesn't have stairs though. Are y'all finna want stairs? Okay, this time, bitch, now I gone and found it. The house of your dreams. This is a porta potty. The asking price is $700,000, but I think I can get them down to $720. That's not a good deal at all. Bitch, do you want it or not?
I mean, it was pink though. It was pink. Neil, I know that there are a lot of mainstream media outlets that are telling y'all that Fox News had a victory. And I know this because y'all have been going crazy in my DMs. Let's break down this victory, shall we?
So yesterday afternoon, I started seeing headlines all over the place, including on liberal news sites, saying that Fox News had scored a victory in the Dominion voting systems defamation lawsuit when a judge decided that Dominion cannot bring up the Capitol riot during the trial. Now, Fox had filed a motion last week saying, hey, we don't want them bringing up the Capitol riot, right? It's got nothing to do with Dominion. There's no reason to bring it up. Oh, and by the way, we also, Fox News said, want to bar them from talking about all the death threats that their employees and their executives have received because of our lies. So everybody, again, including the liberal news sites, were talking about Fox gets a victory. They can't talk about the Capitol riot. But nobody decided to report on the massive defeat that Fox News did in fact suffer yesterday, which was the judge said, sure, you can't talk about the Capitol riot in the context of Fox News caused the Capitol riot. You can talk about Fox News's shift in coverage of the 2020 election after the Capitol riot. So Dominion can still basically do what they wanted to do. Oh, and by the way, the biggest victory is that the judge also said, Dominion, you can talk about the threats against your employees. You can talk about the added security costs that you incurred trying to protect yourself and your employees. So Fox News scored a victory that was like this big. Dominion scored a victory that was this big. And again, it really irks me to see the coverage of this because a lot of those liberal sites didn't even mention the other part of it. They didn't mention that the judge said, yes, you can talk about the thing that basically proves your defamation claims. Because here's what it is. In order to prove defamation, right, you've got lots of different hurdles you have to do. But one of the hurdles you have to clear is you have to prove that you lost money as a result of the lies. One of the ways to prove that you lost money is to show that you incurred unexpected costs due to the lies. Part of those unexpected costs were the increase in security costs that Dominion had to pay because their workers were getting death threats because of the lies being told by Fox News. So that is a major piece of their puzzle, and that is what Dominion had argued in court. They said, listen, if we're going to prove this, we've got to have this. You cannot take this away from us. And the judge agreed. And as I said, Dominion can actually still talk about the Capitol riot, but they can only talk about it in the context of how Fox News shifted their coverage following the Capitol riot and stopped pushing the lies about the 2020 election. And the
Fox is fucked. But we know their staunch sycophants, their super fans are still going to ride with them. They don't care. But it's all good. As always, thank you for joining me here on Conversations with Tess, specifically for Freeform Friday. And as always, make sure you check out the links in the description of this video and check out the links in my link tree. You could find them informative as always. And as always, each one teach one, each one reach one. Let me leave you with a bit of the funny. Y'all be blessed. I'll see y'all on Sunday.
He passed away 4 years ago. Yes, I am sorry too. He's irreplaceable. Anyway, I guess you can just, send me the check and death certificate. Okay. Is that necessary to get the money? Okay. How about you send me the check? I'll send you the death certificate. Or we can do it your way. And by the way, when you give me the money, do you notify the IRS or is that my responsibility? Mine. Perfect. Bye-bye. Our divorce is final, right?
Alan, I neither want nor need your money.
Oh, I know that. But could you say that again on camera?
Okay. You don't have the death certificate, do you?
No, but I'm sure my mom does.
How are you going to get it from her without telling her about the money?
Remember 4 years ago how I told you I'd only be here for a few days? I think I can figure it out.
I can't.